AC, so we're back in a normal filming situation with decent lighting. So I don't think my lighting is even. It's hard for me to tell on like the viewfinder. I do have windows, but I also have my box lights, so I don't really know. Also, not all of the windows have blinds in here, so there's not a lot I can do about like the sunlight coming in. So yeah, but we have more light in general and a better situation. I'm sitting at a table in a chair. That's always lovely. So today I want to talk about, like, I guess high school makeup, college makeup, quick makeup, easy makeup. I don't really know what I'm gonna call this yet. I'm pretty sure like high school is starting soon. It's August. It's been a minute. I don't actually remember when high school starts, and I think it's different for everybody. So like high school and college is starting soon. I started wearing makeup my freshman year of high school, so I figured whatever, it hasn't been that long, and I feel like I have a lot of like tips and tricks. So this is kind of gonna be like how I did my makeup in high school and college, plus how I would do it now, things I recommend, just like a whole chatty video. That's why I really wanted to wait till I had AC so I could actually talk to you and not have to do a voiceover, because for like every little product I have a bunch of recommendations and options for you, and everything is going to be inexpensive, easily accessible, all that good stuff. Because when I was in high school and college, my parents didn't buy me anything. I had to save up allowance. Once I could get a job, I got a job, and I got birthday money, Christmas money, and it all went to makeup. My parents did not buy me makeup. I think all 4 years of high school, my mom bought me one Neutrogena lip gloss. And I remember it so specifically. It was like the skinny tube with the silver top, and it was like this really, really light pink, basically clear with like glitter in it. That was the only piece of makeup she ever bought me in my entire life. So needless to say, any makeup that I bought myself in high school and college was bought with minimum wage funds, which means it was inexpensive. But I was so into YouTube at that point. I was like binge watching Jaclyn Hill, Nicole Guerrero, and Kathleen Lights like as much as possible, rewatching all their videos. And I was super into makeup, and I just bought what I could afford. And yeah, so this is also going to be kind of geared more towards the person with dry skin and acne, because that is what I have. I still have dry skin. I don't have acne anymore, but when I was in high school and the beginning years of college, I did have cystic acne. I had cystic acne for close to 5 years. So yeah, and dry skin. So that's kind of what this makeup is going to be geared, like the type of skin that this makeup is going to be geared toward, just because that's what I have experience with. I don't know what it's like to have super oily skin. So if you have acne but oily skin, maybe this could help you. But yeah, dry skin, acne skin, all that good stuff. So without further ado, I mean, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up or subscribe or something, but let's just get into this video. So actually, I forgot something. 1 second. In high school, I actually used this basically as like my makeup primer. This is the Simple Sensitive Skin Experts Replenishing Rich Moisturizer. This is really, really great. It's like a moisturizer, and it works as a primer. It kind of gives you like a little bit more of a sticky base. I also really like Cetaphil. The Cetaphil is like very similar. It feels a little bit more like creamy than this one. So it feels a little bit different when you're putting it on, but I think the price point's pretty similar, and the effect it's going to give your skin is pretty similar, because it's like a moisturizer primer in one. Nowadays, there's primers, like actual primers, that are pretty great at the drugstore. So I really like the Prime Light from Milani. They also have a Prime and Hydrate now. I haven't tried it, but if it's anything like this, I'm pretty sure it's really great. It gives you a glow, and it also has a little bit of a smoothing effect, so it's really nice. If you have a small problem with pores or you have some texture, this will kind of smooth over that a little bit. It's not like a blurring primer though. I also really like the Prep and Hydrate Balm. This is more like a moisturizer and primer in one. Again, it's just in this like balm form. So if you feel like this will be faster for you or this is more of like your style, then this is from e.l.f. This is really great. Also along the hydrating and smoothing line, again, if you have a little bit of texture, a small pore problem, like if you have acne, like that kind of texture, this will help with that. I wish I had this in high school. This is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Hydrating Balm Stick. So these are kind of like, they look kind of like they would be dupes for each other, where this one is just like a hydrating primer, like a moisturizer slash primer. This one has a little bit of like a smoothing effect to it. It's not going to give you as much of a dew. It hydrates without being dewy and it smooths things over. So I really do like this. I think I'm actually going to use this one today because I have been having some problems with like texture and more like pores since becoming pregnant. So I've been loving this one lately. So this is a Morphe brush. You don't have to get this. It's just that the e.l.f. ones that I have that look like this are super ridiculously dirty. I would recommend these. This is the e.l.f. Foundation Blurring Brush. A couple bucks at the drugstore. e.l.f. brushes, especially their face brushes, really great. I'm gonna go from lightest to fullest coverage. So if you just have dry skin, not too much acne or anything, and you want something that's just gonna even out your skin tone, you could try the Physicians Formula Healthy Foundation. This has an SPF of 20, so that's really cool too. It has a brightening complex as well. I do like the brightening complex products from Physicians Formula. Physicians Formula is a little bit more on the expensive side for the drugstore, so keep that in mind. But this has a really nice hydrating and like light coverage, so awesome. And it has this like doe foot applicator, so you can just kind of like swipe it on, grab your brush, blend it right in, and then you have like a nice even or more even skin tone. So then we have the e.l.f. Flawless Finish Foundation. I just did a full review like I was talking about. I will link that in the eye and down below. But this is like a true medium to like high medium. Like you can build this to almost a full coverage, but like one layer will give you a nice medium coverage. This is pretty like a satin matte finish. It gets a little bit more dewy throughout the day. So like in that video I recommended, even if you have dry skin, powdering your face just so you don't get too dewy throughout the day. But I do like this, and this I like because it's very versatile, so you can get close to a full coverage, and then if you need a little bit less coverage, you can cut this with a moisturizer or just use a tiny bit. And it also has a pump, so that's also really easy. You can just pump it onto your face, pump a drop onto the brush and go in. So again, super quick. I'm not going to use this today just because I just used it in the other video, so I want to show y'all a different foundation than what I've normally been using. But I do really like this, and this bottle is $6. So probably this is actually the cheapest one out of all the ones I'm going to recommend. So real good. Then we have the Burt's Bees Goodness Glow. Again, this is on the more expensive side for, I think this one's close to like $16. You can build it to like a high, medium, almost full coverage. I really do like this. It has a little bit more of that matte finish, but I really like it. I just haven't been using this because obviously this is like my pale color and I've been a little bit more tan lately. I've been getting some sun, but I do like this. It's just on more of the expensive side. But again, it has a pump, really quick, really lovely. It has more of like a dry down than say the e.l.f. one, but it's not matte feeling on your skin, if that makes sense. So I do like this one. It's just a little bit more expensive, but if it does work for your skin, it is worth it. Then the one I'm going to use today, another one that is full coverage, but you can cut it and make it light coverage, which is what I'm going to do today, is the Conceal and Perfect 2-in-1 Foundation and Concealer from Milani. You can see I have like my fresh fake tan shade and my super pale normal self shade. So I'm going to be mixing these two together. They have a pump, a glass bottle, very quick. I do really like these, so I'm basically going to use like half a pump of each and a little bit of moisturizer and mix that all together. Put it on with a brush. Really great. These have a slightly dewy finish. It's closer to like a satin matte where it still kind of feels a little bit sticky. I would recommend powdering these ones as well. I powdered my whole face every day in high school just because I wanted my foundation to last and I didn't want to have to worry about touching it up throughout the day. So that is just how I rolled. I was kind of that person, I still kind of am that person that I want to put my makeup on and then I want to not touch it throughout the day just because that's so annoying to me. So yeah, I did put my foundation on my face with my hands in high school, but I'm not going to do that today. Really good way to see if something matches, just double chin it up and see if it goes. You're good. I really like the Revolution Conceal and Define. It's a little bit more on the dry side, but it is more full coverage. And then kind of on the medium side, I have the e.l.f. Conceal and Perfect and the e.l.f. HD Lifting Concealer. Both of these are like a medium and you can build them to full. And they're kind of more on the hydrating side. I'm going to use a little baby mix of both of them because I don't have the correct shade right now of like any of my concealers are either way too dark or way too light. So I'm just going to use that. Also, you could try the e.l.f. 16-hour Camo Concealer. I obviously have this, but it's way too light, so I haven't tried it yet. I bought it right before I went to Florida and then got way too tan for the shade that I bought, so I haven't tried it yet. Same brush, just gonna blend that out. This brush is a little big to be doing this, but the e.l.f. one is smaller and fits under the eyes like way better. Definitely recommend that one over this one. Super quick, just gave a little bit more coverage around the eyes and I put it over my lid to kind of prime as well. This is really funny to me that I still have this. This powder brush from Eco Tools I used for powder, bronzer, blush, and highlight all 4 years of high school. One brush to rule them all. I literally had less than 10 brushes all 4 years of high school, so I just kind of made it work, and I really do still like this brush because I like see how it's kind of, it's fluffy. Like if you turn it this way, it's nice and fluff, but then if you turn it like that, you can get it more precise because it's tapered. You could be a boss and just use one brush, or you can like splurge a little bit and get like a set. So like e.l.f. brushes, Wet n Wild. Real Techniques is a little bit more expensive. I also really like the, what brand? The, oh, BH. So I think you can get BH in Ulta now, like in person, but the best deals are always going to be online at BH. They have sales all the time, and I still have BH brushes that I bought in high school and they're still going strong. So definitely BH brush sets. You can get like a full brush set, face and eye set for like less than 20 bucks. If you are cool with ordering online, then I definitely recommend BH. They're really great. I'm just going to use the e.l.f. Pressed Powder, Prime and Stay Finishing Powder, under my eyes and on like my whole face basically. So I am probably not the best person to recommend powders. I do really like this one. I also use a Wet n Wild like bronzer as face powder like every day when I'm pale. I do like the Milani face powders. I just like, I don't know, I don't try them very often because they're like boring to buy. So like the one I used from Wet n Wild, it literally has like no shades. The light shade matches me. Not a good recommendation. I do like these ones from e.l.f. I don't think the shade range is too good on these either. So if you have like a favorite face powder from the drugstore, then definitely leave it down below so that I can try it and other people can try it. That's probably the one recommendation that I really don't have. In high school, I used Revlon Nearly Naked, which isn't cruelty free and they don't even make it anymore. So yeah, so let's move on to bronzer and blush. I have quite a few recommendations for both of these. So move these out of the way. Oh yeah, and I do recommend powdering your whole face even though you're dry. If you just use like a light layer, especially in the middle, it'll keep stuff from kind of like moving and creasing, and then on the cheeks, it'll just help everything blend faster, and it won't be as much of a risk of having it skipping or picking up places if you powder first. So for bronzer, I really love the Butter Bronzer. This has a few new shades, so they kind of expanded their shade range. It also smells really good. It has a really pretty, like almost glowy finish. It's like a really nice smooth skin-like glow to it. That also goes for the primer infused bronzers from e.l.f. These are wonderful. I love these. These definitely you don't have to worry about leaving. None of the ones I recommend really, but if you're somebody who struggles with your bronzer and blush leaving your face, I would definitely recommend trying the primer infused bronzers and blushes from e.l.f. And then also I really love the new bronzers, new-ish bronzers from Wet n Wild. This one is in Ticket to Brazil. So beautiful. This has a little bit more of a glow to it than the other two, but it's still super, super beautiful. I'm actually going to use this one today because I think I've used those other two in quite a few videos. This is the Wet n Wild, oh, it doesn't have the name on it. It's one of the fluffy brushes. These are super soft and amazing. These ones, like the white with the pink top, so nice, from Wet n Wild. I just give myself a little like wash of color, a little bit of dimension to my face, nothing too crazy. We're not going to contour or anything like that today. At least I didn't in high school. You do you if that's your thing. So as for blush, I actually have a lot more recommendations. So for single blushes, e.l.f. has a few different formulas and I love every single one of them. So in this packaging, they're kind of just differentiated by their packaging. These are really great. This just happens to be in Candid Coral. I'm just showing like the different packaging, like this kind of like NARS-ish packaging. These blushes are like $2 literally, and they have the most beautiful glow to them, and they actually last really, really long on the face. I love these. And then like I mentioned earlier, the primer infused blushes are amazeballs. They last forever. They have a beautiful, beautiful satin finish to them. Really, really lovely. All of the e.l.f. blushes have like a satin or glowy kind of finish to them. Of course, the Wet n Wild Color Icon blushes. These I think are around like the $4 or $5 mark. They have tons of shades, light to deep. Really, really wonderful. These are gorgeous as well, kind of that satin slash glow to them. The Milani Baked blushes, of course, an old fave. These came out when I was actually in high school, and these were all the rage, all the rage. So I don't personally recommend tons of palettes for a high schooler, but I have a few exceptions. So I did do, this one is probably the most expensive thing I'm going to recommend throughout this whole video. This is the Stila Perfect Me, Perfect You Eye and Cheek palette. Is that what it's called? Yeah. I did a whole 3 looks 1 palette and review video on this. This happens to be the shade light to mediums. They have 4 different shades for different skin tones, and these are beautiful. The eyeshadows in here are great, and the blushes in here are gorgeous. If you want to see these in action, definitely watch that video. Something to consider, or something to ask maybe for a gift, or again if you get like a gift card or some birthday money, something like that. These are the Profusion Cosmetics palettes. There's 2 shades. So we have the pink nudes and the gold nudes. These are different, okay? That wasn't good English. So these you get 2, like a matte blush, a shimmery blush, and a highlight, and then these eyeshadows on the top. You won't be able to get as smoky of a look as the Stila palette, so that's also why I really like this. If you do have like banquets or prom or homecoming or anything like that, you can actually get a pretty smoky look with this. So this can be a little bit more versatile than just everyday, whereas these you can really only get kind of an everyday look. But these are $5. You can get like a really nice everyday look, and you kind of have, it's nice to have some things all together in one, especially if you're going to reach for this every single day. It's going to make your life a little bit easier. Then this other palette I have, this is the Revolution blush palette. This has 4 blushes and 4 highlights. Again, I don't always recommend a palette, but if it makes your life a little bit easier to have a few everyday colors in one place, I really do like these. I don't remember the exact price of this, but Revolution in general is pretty inexpensive. So I think I've used all of these on camera except for the Profusion palette. So that's what I'm going to use today for my face and for my eyes. I'm going to actually go in with the Golden Nudes, the blush in Bliss. This one on the end. So pretty. I'm actually going to take a little bit of the shimmery blush, Bronzite, just right on top of that. Just kind of over the whole situation. I do like that glow I always have. Now let's talk about some highlights. So again, the Revolution palette, these highlights in here are beautiful. I love them. I just used them in my last video actually. So gorge. I also have tons of singles to kind of recommend. So any of these e.l.f. baked bronzers, so lovely. Of course, the Wet n Wild Mega Glow. If you haven't heard of these, where you been at? Tons of shades, really gorgeous. I also really like the Milani highlights. These require a little bit more, these two require a little bit more stiff of a brush, where like these Wet n Wild ones, you can use like a softer brush. No worries, this is another like formula of the Wet n Wild highlights. Not as many shades, but still very, very beautiful. I've used all of these in videos before. And then I really like the Essence Pure Nude highlighters. Really gorge, and the Revolution Strobe powders. This is obviously for when I'm tan. A highlight from the same Golden Nudes palette and pop that. I'm going to use a different brush today. You could also just use your finger. I did that a lot in high school. But yeah, today I'm just going to use a little highlighting brush. Just going to pop that on top. So in high school, I used the e.l.f. brow pencil. This one's like the kind of more like dull one. And then I upgraded when I was in high school and got the e.l.f. little duo. It's like the pomade and powder duo. This is still really great. I still use this on occasion to this day. Not the same exact, this isn't, I've repurchased, this isn't the same exact one I was using in high school. This is really great if you feel like you get quick enough. Like once you do this a few times, like you get really practiced at it, takes the same amount of time as using a pencil. The exact one that I bought and used in high school, I still have it, it's still going strong. So if you feel like you want to have another brush lingering around, it does have a spoolie on the end, so that's really great. e.l.f. has a new, more precise eyebrow pencil. I bought it, I haven't used it yet, so I don't want to like specifically recommend it to you. But then also I really love the Wet n Wild, is this the precise? It's the retractable brow pencil. It's the one that's like angled. This one is super quick. I've heard also really good things about the CoverGirl brow pencil, like the precise one, and that they have a lot of shades. Again, I personally haven't used it, but it's another option for you. And then as far as brow gel, I used to use the Maybelline like clear brow gel. Don't use that anymore. I love the e.l.f. clear. These are the brow gels. They have a new one that is like a fiber one that I really want to try because I don't have anything like that anymore, and I used to love one that I used to have. So yeah, but these are really, really great. They have a few different tinted ones and then a clear one. So in high school, I would just kind of go in with like this, give me some color, give me some shape, and then do a clear coat over the top. But yeah, you can kind of do like any mixture of anything. I'm going to use a tinted brow gel and then fill in where I need it, and then tinted brow gel again just to lock everything in. That's kind of just what I do now when I'm trying to be fast. So a lot of stuff, like when you're trying to be like fast about it, it's about finding like a quick way to do it that you like, and then just always do it that way. Like you get a routine and then you can get it done in literally 10 minutes. Like I remember in high school, I would pretty much do like the same thing every day just to make myself look not dead. And like I have brows and eyes and then it would take me like 10 minutes to do the full routine. I could do half of it like not even looking. So I just use this Wet n Wild to kind of give me like a tail. I don't do really anything at all in the front. Just like that. Just kind of fill in the tail and give me a little bit more. That was like my problem, like I kind of just am missing so much hair out there. It just gives me more shape and like makes me look like I have a complete brow really quick and without being like overdone. If you want to have super sculpted brows and take the time to do that, go for it. I know plenty of girls do that. They do like a super sculpted brow every day. That's just never been my thing. Boom. Just like that. That's all I would do. And actually in high school, I used to use, for like the first 2 years, I used the same Revlon eyeshadow quad every single day, and there's a really dark brown shade in there, and I would just use that eyeshadow powder just to fill in my brows and then do like a clear mascara basically over the top of it. So I kind of went from like powder, eyeshadow to like I upgraded to like the pencil, and then like pomade started being popular, so I got like the little elf pomade thing and like felt so cool. But yeah. Eyeshadow, again, we can go back in with the golden nudes, and I think that is what I'm gonna do because I've used everything else I'm gonna mention on camera before, I'm pretty sure. But I do really love these. I mentioned these in one of my last videos, the one about the eyeshadow palettes that I kept. These from e.l.f. Oh my gosh, these sculpting silk eyeshadows. I can't get enough of these, especially the one I have. They have 5 shades kind of for different skin tones and different eye colors. This is the one I have, Rose All Day. I want to get all of them just to I kind of want to get all of them and do a video showing y'all all of them. So I'm not going to use this today because I want to do that video, even though I don't think literally anyone in the world would want to see that. I just want to do it. Anyway, these are wonderful. This is really similar to the quad that I had in high school, just kind of like 2 transition shades, like something to like throw in the crease, and then I would put this darker just like on the outer corner and then use my finger with this and put it on my lid. The only difference is the one that I had in high school also had like a really light champagne color, and I would put that on my inner corner, my brow bone, and use it as a face highlight. For literally like the first 2 years, I just kept repurchasing that same quad. I don't even think they make it anymore, honestly. And I wouldn't buy Revlon anymore because they're not cruelty free. So these are really, really lovely. It's just that they don't have that like super light shade, but if you have something like this or a different face highlight that you really love, I would just pop that face highlight on the inner corner and the brow bone after you do your eyeshadow. I also, again, Stila did a video, 3 looks, 1 eyeshadow palette. Go check that out. Also these have tons of shades. The Wet n Wild Color Icon little 10 eye color thingies, 10 eyeshadows. Really inexpensive. These are like $5 or $6. Tons of eyeshadow shades, and this is a little bit more versatile where you can get lots of looks. So you can do like just your everyday school with like this shade and maybe this, and then like this on the lid, or like the more matte color on the lid. But then like on the weekends when you want to get crazy, you can kind of mix in these when you have a little bit more time to get ready. Boom, beautiful, love these. Tons and tons and tons of shades, super accessible, very inexpensive, very good quality for the price. That's why I love these. So I'm pretty sure I've used this in a video. If I haven't, I totally will soon. If you really want to see this in action, I think I'd be happy to do that. That'd be fun. But today I am going to use these. These are just like a little bit more new, a little bit more like new discovery, I guess, for me. And I for sure haven't used these on camera. I know that for sheezy. So I'm just gonna kind of show these. The only problem I would see with this is that you can't really get a super smoky look. This is purely if an everyday look. That's all that this palette is gonna give you. So take that into consideration and just think about like what you do on a daily basis and what you actually need. And that's not even with a wet eyeshadow brush, like just so pretty. And I love having just a little bit of a glow on the lid. I just think it makes you kind of look more awake and like you tried and stuff. So just a little glow, a little definition, really quick and easy. And then you can just pop on some mascara and call it a day. Been a fave since high school. CoverGirl Clump Crusher. They are now cruelty free, which is amazing because this is my all-time favorite mascara. Okay, so the last thing is lips, and all throughout high school and college, I was really simple every day on the lips. I was kind of just like a lip balm, lip gloss kind of girl, and lip tints, which is honestly still what I like to do if I'm doing like an everyday thing, because I want to give a little bit of shape to my lips. If you can see now, I do have lips, they just really blend into my face. Like they're almost the same color as my skin in general, and then they get covered in foundation a lot of the time, so I like to give them a little bit of color and definitely some glow. Just that hydrated look, and it's gonna look a lot better and it's gonna wear a lot better throughout the day. So I have quite a few options. So let's start. I really love the Burt's Bees lipsticks. These are really hydrating. They have tons of shades and they're really nice and sheer. You can layer like a gloss on top if you want, or like anything really. These layer nicely over lip balms as well. They also have tinted lip balms that I used to have one, and I just don't have it anymore. I also really like the NYX Butter Glosses. They have just enough color, nothing too crazy. They smell really good. And yeah, they're like a really nice hydrating lip gloss. Same goes for these e.l.f. lip glosses. It doesn't say which ones they are, but yeah, these are pretty pigmented, nice and glossy. They have a really good doe foot applicator. It's actually pretty precise. It's a little bit more high pigment than the NYX ones, but I still really love them. Nice and hydrating. I also really love the NYX This Is Everything lip oils. I like the original, and now they have tinted ones. The tints are super sheer though, so what I actually like to do is use one of these Catrice tint color shots. This is the coral one. It's called Pink Happiness. I will use like this to stain my lips and then go in with something like a lip oil or just a lip balm on top. Also, what I actually did use for years in high school, like all 4 years of high school, was the CoverGirl lip tints. They kind of look like a marker, but there's like a good shade range, and I would just use either the super nude one or like a pinky one and put it on. You have to put it on once because then it just stains your lips. And then throughout the day, I would just put something like the NYX Butter Gloss on top of it because it's sheer, so you can still see like the stain pigment coming through. And then you also have like a gloss, or I would put a chapstick on top or something like the This Is Everything lips oil thingy, or you could just go ahead and put a clear gloss on top, which I really like this one from Ulta. It does come in a set with a lip scrub, a lip balm, and this clear lip gloss, but it's really great, and I think the whole set is $5. Also smells like watermelon, so delish. I also really like something like this. This isn't exactly what I would recommend because it's matte, but anything in this like stick kind of form, just super easy. Again, just get like a glossy one. This one's from NYX. I know that they have glossy things like this. I think CoverGirl has something similar. a lot of brands carry things like in this format. I just think it's really travel friendly, and like if you get a color that's just like really nice and nude for you, or it's like a sheer formula and really glossy, it's something you can just throw on without a mirror and go, and just it wears nicely throughout the day but gives you some hydration. So today, I don't know, let's do the Burt's Bees. This happens to be in the shade Nude. This is just a good color for me. In high school, I did not have time for setting sprays, but we can talk about setting sprays if you want a recommendation from the drugstore. I would just powder my skin at the beginning of the day and call it a day. My makeup always seemed to last fine, but I do really like the e.l.f. setting sprays and the Catrice ones and the Wet n Wild. These are really awesome, along with, those are probably like the cheapest ones of all of them. And then the Milani Make It Last is really wonderful. I wouldn't go for anything that's like dewy, because you don't want to add more, like the more dew you add to your skin, the least likely it is to last. So I would just go for like a straight up like setting spray that'll kind of maybe melt the powders in, maybe help prolong your skin. But like when I was in high school, I didn't have time to like spray my face and wait for it to dry. If you feel like you do, then go for it. Those are totally my recommendations. I just don't think it's as practical, but those are some pretty good options if you want to do that. While I'm still messing with my dumb hair. I hate my hair right now. I hate it so much. The e.l.f. ones smell good too. That was me every day in high school, pretty much. And college. Just if I was putting on makeup, it probably looked something like this, unless I was like getting ready to go drink, and then I would do a little bit more horror stuff, a little bit more black in college. And in college I started getting into fake eyelashes. So yeah, so this is a really good like everyday super quick, if I'm not talking and giving recommendations and talking about 5 different things for every category, this is something that you and I can both get done in like 10 minutes, super quick, minimal brushes, minimal product, but you still kind of look put together. You still touched every part of the face, you gave everything a little bit of shape and color, and you know, just making yourself look that much more alive. And you know, putting in that, even just that 10 minutes can even make you feel better, and just throughout the day make you feel more put together. Where I know like in the morning you're so groggy, you don't feel like putting on makeup, but like later in the day you're like thankful that you did, because you are finally awake and you feel really put together. So yeah, if you have any recommendations, definitely leave them down below. I'd be more than happy to try new things, and I'm sure anybody watching this video would love to see some other recommendations as well. There's tons of makeup out there, so I obviously haven't tried everything. I definitely haven't tried everything in the cruelty-free world, so open to suggestions. If you like this video, let me know, give me a thumbs up, and if you like me, I guess in general, give me a little subscribe, you know? So I try to post 3 times a week, definitely every Tuesday and Thursday. Sometimes we get a bonus video on Sundays. That's the wild card video. It could be anything. Tuesday and Thursday I try to keep it strictly makeup. Sunday is where we get wild with like a vlog or something. Whoa, so wild. But yeah, so other than that, I don't have anything else to say. So wherever you are, whatever you're doing, just have a good one. Bye.